To grasp the concept of prejudice against women in American politics, we must take a step back and understand the historical context. I'm sure many of you know, but it wasn't until 1920 when a woman could vote. And if you didn't already know, that's over 130 years after the first election. That's 130 years of women being seen to not have a voice in political matters. And so you can imagine, once women started entering these political workspaces, it was almost like a race that they had to catch up to be seen as equal in a political context. It's important to note that in the 19th and 20th century, a woman's legal status was completely dependent on her husband. And if she didn't have one, she did not have a place politically. And yet, even as America looks to move past these themes today, the history of them still affects how America's political system navigates women in this field.
Hegemonic masculinity is defined as the aggressive, controlling, and power-hungry attributes typically associated with the stereotypical or traditional idea of men. Politics throughout history have been dominated by men who often fit into this idea of hegemonic masculinity, therefore creating a correlation between politics and these aggressive masculine traits. Because of the association between these stereotypes and politics, many voters with more traditional perspectives and belief systems hold strong prejudice against women in politics, for they do not fit into the crafted hegemonic idea of a politician.
Alright, I'll be talking about the stigmas surrounding political education and job opportunities for women. So my first point is political education for women. Political jobs are perceived as a male domain, a male-dominated area, which sets limits to women's voices in political discussions and decreases their participation in political education. There's also the point of cultural and social norms. In many societies, women are expected to stay at home and taking care of domestic duties. So this also limits the time and energy for political education. And plus, some women are already mothers, so they may face the social expectation again to stay at home and taking care of their children as well. And my second point, the other point, is job opportunities for women in politics. Many leaderships, such as CEOs and political leaders, are often received as for men. So there's a bias and inequality towards women getting political job positions.
How are women treated when running for positions within American politics? American citizens see discrimination against women as a very prevalent part of their society and a major reason why women are less likely to be elected to office. Political parties do not see women as reliable political candidates, and therefore they do not provide them with the same support that men receive, or even refuse to recruit them entirely. Additionally, there is no legislation to provide funding for women in office, or calls to provide them with party quotas to promote equality. There is a lack of proportional representation in the way that the U.S. electoral system is set up, which makes it quite difficult for women to gain candidacies within their political parties. Women perceive the political playing field to be biased against women and very competitive, and they receive significantly less support from their community, family, and party than men do, and therefore are much less likely to run for office. Regardless of their actual knowledgeability, both women and men perceive women to be less politically adept than men.
In my section of this case study, I researched how women are treated when they are already in the political positions. I found two studies. The first explains how women are much more favored in their political position if they have children or are married. This creates an unfair environment for the women who don't meet those standards. Second, I found that women who break the glass ceiling or achieve a higher level of political position are much more likely to receive uncivil messages from the media.